Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day and has had a good week. I want to, even before the Dvar Torah, first thank everyone who participated, who made a contribution to our very successful Welcome Back, Welcome Forward fundraising campaign. Thank you to the matchers. Thank you to everyone who helped organize it, especially Jackie Brenner. Thank you, Jackie. And may we all continue to go from strength to strength. This week's pre-Shabbos video Dvar Torah is sponsored by Michael and Rivka Denker and family for a refuah shlema for Alan Katz, Yisachar Uri HaKohen Ben Hendel, and we join them in davening for a refuah shlema for Alan, and we thank you for the sponsorship. The Parah Adumah, the red heifer, is of course the great mystery of the Torah, and the tradition is that there is something inexplicable about it, something that the human mind cannot fully comprehend, cannot fully grasp. Nevertheless, the tradition of our commentaries was always to do our best, to try to, as best as we can, understand the mitzvah, the point of the mitzvah, the lessons to learn from this mitzvah. And this week, a new thought occurred to me, a new insight of how to understand the purpose and the symbolism of the Parah Adumah. I'd like to share it with you. The concept of ritual purity and impurity, tumah and tahara in the Torah, is that there are a number of sources of ritual impurity if a person comes in contact with them. And all sources of ritual impurity have something to do with, they are examples of loss, destruction, death in the biological world. And so without getting to the details, but the carcass of a dead animal will make a person tameh, will make a person impure. And there are different gradations, there are different levels of severity of ritual impurity based on the source. And of course, the greatest, most powerful source of ritual impurity is when a person comes in contact with a human being who has passed away. It is only that kind of ritual impurity which requires the sprinkling of the Parah Adumah water, the Parah Adumah ashes mixed with pure spring water. Otherwise, a person can go to the mikveh. But only when a person comes in contact with a dead body does it require the Parah Adumah. And this is not only because a human being is much more important, and therefore when a human being passes away, there's a greater loss than when an animal passes away. It is more than that. It is because when a human being dies, it is a loss that is irreplaceable. Every human being is unique. And so when there was someone who used to be in this world and is no longer, that's a loss, that's a void that we can't fill. There's no way to replace that person. For anything else, any sickness, saras, which is a breaking down of the human body, that can be healed. If an animal dies, there can be another animal of the same type that can replace that animal. But when a human being dies, that's it. It's irreplaceable. The person is irreplaceable. And it occurred to me, perhaps that is the message of the Parah Adumah. If we can imagine when the Jewish people would have found a Parah Adumah, a pure, unblemished, healthy, unworked, 100% red cow, it would have been this beautiful and absolutely unique animal. It would have been an animal unlike any other. You would not have had another red cow on your farm. You would not have had a neighbor that had a red cow. And the Torah says, take a Parah Adumah, take this unique living being. And even though it is kind of like a sacrifice, it is not offered in the Beis HaMikdash. Rather, basically, it's just killed. It is slaughtered, and its body is burnt. It is destroyed, in other words. And perhaps the message, the symbolism, part of the message of why is the Torah telling us take a red cow and destroy it and kill it and take its ashes to sprinkle on someone who has touched a dead body or come in contact with another, with a non-living human being? The message is that just as the Parah Adumah is, the Torah says, take this beautiful thing and burn it. Even though we know that it can't be replaced, you will not find another one. The message is the Torah recognizes the loss that you feel. The reason why coming in contact with death imparts the greatest tumah is because it is the greatest loss. There's something irreplaceable that has been lost. And the Torah says, similarly, take something else, an irreplaceable loss, the destruction of this most beautiful, unique animal which you will not be able to replace, and take a little bit of the ashes of that animal, mix it with spring water, and sprinkle it on the person, as if to say, yes, we recognize the loss that you feel. We recognize the void that you have come in contact with. But even still, the Torah has a way to purify. When that red heifer is destroyed, it is not fully destroyed. Ash remains, and from that ash we can purify. When a person passes away, the person is not lost forever. There are memories, the good deeds live on, and we can hold on to that person. We don't have a Parah Adumah red heifer in all its halachic qualifications. We cannot fulfill the mitzvah. Today, if someone does touch or is in the same room as a dead human being, there is no way to halachically purify oneself from that. However, the lessons of the Parah Adumah, of how the Torah teaches to deal with death and loss, that we still certainly can learn from the Torah and from the Parsha and from this mitzvah. And unfortunately, we often only realize, appreciate what we had when we lose it, when it's no longer there and we can't find a replacement. So let us also learn this lesson from the Parah Adumah and remember, as we have everyone with us, our loved ones, our friends, that every person is a Parah Adumah, every person is a red heifer, every person is beautiful and unique in a way that cannot be replaced. So let's appreciate every human being, but especially those who are close with us, whose presence adds to our lives. Let's appreciate our own uniqueness. I'm a Parah Adumah. I should not just be a copy, another person. I have something unique to give. I have something unique to accomplish. Let us take all of these lessons from the Parsha. We cannot fulfill them practically, but let us hold on to this message that every human being is a Parah Adumah. Good Shabbos, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.